Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Arkansas Motorsports Magazine's Tuesday Night Tune-Up. I'm Bill Gilkey with our co-host Heath Tate. Tonight we're in Russellville, Arkansas at Tommy New Racing. We've got Tommy New here with us tonight, and we've got Arkansas racing legend Bob Moore. It's a very special honor to have you join us tonight, Bob, and thank you again. We also have Randy Aiken. And Wesley Bourne has come down from the Fort Smith, Arkansas area to be with us tonight. And we've got an exciting show coming up. A lot of history of dirt track racing here in the central and northwest Arkansas area to be discussed tonight. We want to thank our sponsors, Chambers Bank, with 28 locations throughout Arkansas. True Grit Auction Company, Arkansas's #1 online auction service. Check them out. They've got a big auction that should be posted this weekend. A lot of racing items.
Stuff that
y'all might be interested in. So be checking out that before the end of the week. We want to thank Kevin Rogers with KR Performance Fuels. And we also want to thank Skyway Buick GMC in Joplin, Missouri. Like I said, they may be in Joplin, Missouri, but get on the internet. They've got it made simple to buy a vehicle from Skyway. Again, Heath, you were busy out last week passing out keys once again to people with the Skyway group.
I don't remember how many they sold this past month, but it was a bunch.
Yep. So, are you extending the offer again this week?
One more time.
One more time. If you between now and Friday, if you'll get on the internet, buy a vehicle from Skyway Buick GMC in Joplin, Missouri. Arkansas Motorsports Magazine's Heath Tate will join the Skyway crew when they deliver your vehicles. So we appreciate Heath for doing that. We'll throw it over to Heath for this past week's racing report.
Well, we had some rain in some areas and raced out and rained out a few tracks. Then there was a few got to run. I-30 got to run. Had some good racing up there. Plummerville ran Friday night. Good racing there, and I had the drag strip at Centerville ran. Centerville's Speedway ran also, and I guess Crawford ran.
Yes, sir. I thought Centerville got rained out.
They did get rained out.
Yeah.
They got rained out Friday night.
On Friday night.
Batesville did too.
And Batesville did too.
You didn't get DQ this weekend, man? Sounds upside down.
And so I get in, of course, tri-states. They're not up and going yet, so it'll be
A couple more weeks.
All right, we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there that opening night.
Well, there and the Tuesday night show will be a tri-state.
Yeah.
So also coming up this week, Batesville Motor Speedway, or not this week, we're closed this week, but we'll be back in action next week with a 2-day sprint stock show.
Right. And Centerville drag strip is having a memorial race this weekend for the young lady that was killed this past weekend.
Very
Going home after the drag racing was
heartfelt sympathies go out to Roy Cook and his family.
So y'all come out and support that.
But like I said, we want to thank Heath for his racing report brought to you by Weston Petroleum in Plummerville, Arkansas. We want to thank Jimbo and everybody at Weston Petroleum for supporting Arkansas Motorsports Magazine and Tuesday Night Tune-Up. And we'll get into tonight's show, and I guess we'll start off here with our host, Tommy New. What's going on with Tommy New as we get ready to go into the 2021 racing season?
I'm trying to get that new car done.
Man, it's a good looking hot rod you got being built right there.
If I can ever get time to work on it. Bob come down, me and Bob worked on Saturday and got a lot of it done. Finally got our fenders and all the brackets made where we can start putting the interior stuff in it. I'm hoping to run it the weekend after next week.
So I guess Bob's been busy.
Yeah, Bob's been, thank God he's been coming down here.
I've got a feeling Bob's been busier than Tommy.
No, trust me. My nightlife is busy enough just on phone calls and brokers. I don't even get sleep because of it.
That's it. But I mean, you do got a good looking hot rod there.
I think she'd be a nice ride when we get her done.
What do you think about the IMCA stock car class?
What I seen in Batesville 2 weeks ago, I was very impressed. I think it's gonna be pretty neat to watch.
It's going to be pretty neat to be out there with them.
Yes. I don't know if it would, I don't know, I think I'd rather watch it. I mean, they was 3 wide going to the checker the other night, you know?
Every time that I've watched one of them, no matter where you're at, what you do, you watch one of them IMC stock car races,
it's 3, 4 wide coming up, check like every time.
I don't think there was time Friday night at Batesville over 2 weeks ago where you couldn't lay a blanket over the top of the 7 cars that was there. I mean, it was crazy watching.
You really didn't know who was gonna win the feature
Exactly.
until it was over.
Exactly.
Now, that's the kind of racing that
Fun.
that we need, and the fans like it, and the drivers like it, so hopefully that IMCA stock car deal is gonna be a great benefit to racing in the state of Arkansas.
I'm gonna be out of that for a while, cause I gotta have eye surgery the next month, so I don't know when I'll get back into that for this. And I figure there'll be
So just gonna sit here?
no, I figure that there'll be somebody close to it willing it for a night or two.
Oh, I thought for a second you was talking about that. I thought maybe I was gonna get to driving.
No, I figure to go tri-state some stuff.
Okay, I see. All right, I guess I'll give up the seat to Wesley.
You'll let Wesley run a little bit.
I figure Wesley will be.
I really thought there for a second he was looking at me.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get it where you don't know who I'm looking at. I'm trying to get rid of that idea. You know, I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be up at Tri-State that weekend.
I'm tired of the fans waving at me thinking I'm looking at them, okay?
But anyway, we look forward to seeing you out well, like I said, you got 3 cars sitting here, Tommy, so we look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to have a street stock there too. I mean, we gotta get the motor freshened in it. We got everything to do it. It won't take that, just put a nose piece on it and set the motor in it, it'll be ready. I mean, I should have it there easy. But I said that about that in the Bristol too, but it just ain't went my way. We've been working about 7 days a week in trucks.
I mean, when people open up boxes and burn their doors.
Y'all let it. Y'all gotta quit this.
Well, no, we tell people, we tell the stories and ask questions other people are afraid to tell and ask.
I mean, when you carry all the boxes from the fenders and the doors and the roof.
It was one big box. That box was big as that race car they come in. You asked Randy, it was humongous, and we come in that Saturday cleaning, we just drug it out back, burned all the cardboard.
And burn on your doors.
Well, yeah, we got looking for the door, and Rickety walks out.
We didn't carry it out. You carried it out and burned it.
Rickety walks out there, we're looking for this door, and he gets it out from under the ashes. I thought, you've got to be kidding me.
See, those are the kind of stories that people are interested in.
No,
That's
no,
what
it's
makes,
not.
that's what makes the show,
Oh, my
And
Lord.
that's why we're not really a lot about results, because
I
you
just
get
like
the
that.
results anywhere. These are the kind of stories people.
Last year at the
hear
Spooker, we take the car over to Wesley to drive and everything, and Wesley wanted to use his steering wheel. Dude, up there, it freaked me out. I thought there's something bad wrong with his car. He said, man, the car just ain't turning. So we adjust on it. Wesley goes back out there, he comes down the front straightaway, son, and I see him doing what just right here, and all of a sudden the car just goes straight into the wall. He said, dude,
I wasn't doing anything, I was doing this.
yeah, he was. The car would just turn like that. He just drove straight in the wall, up on the wall. And I thought, well, we're done. Well, he rode in, and he bent tie rod a little bit and everything. We got all back together. Wesley gets in to go back out there. And he said, something's clicking. We're sitting there looking around. Wesley starts turning the wheel and it's clicking.
It's not doing anything.
It wouldn't do nothing. So I grabbed the steering wheel and pop, pop, pop. His steering wheel had a bigger hot shaft on it than mine was. And it was just slipping on the spline.
It wasn't doing anything.
Oh God, I thought
That could have been really bad.
yes, it was bad enough. I mean, we thought we was done because he went plumb up on the wall and and everything. And I thought, good Lord, he's gonna wipe this car out. And it was a steering wheel, thank God. But then our luck didn't turn out very good anyway.
Wesley, we appreciate you driving down from Fort Smith area tonight. Tell everybody a little bit about how you got started racing.
This is my 11th year. I started racing 2010, 2011 time. Kind of a family deal. My dad and uncles and stuff were into it back in the day. I kind of grew up around drag racing more than the whole dirt track running around stuff. And once I got well, I mean, I was always interested. I used to always go. I was one of those little kids that run around, underneath the stairs, and didn't really pay attention to the races at all whatsoever. But got older. I got to start out in a mini stock and got some seat time. It's kind of went from there. I've been running factory stock stuff for a couple of years now. It's kind of where I'm at. Still stuck in factory stock. That's what I like, I guess.
You win several races.
Yeah, I win a few.
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
I did lucky occasionally, I guess, but I like to win more, but I'll take what I can get, I guess.
Well, I've seen you run at Tri-State, and you do a very, very good job up there.
Thanks,
I
sir.
mean, you have an excellent program going.
He's a clean racer, that's
Yeah.
what I like about it. That's what impressed me
Like I
most.
said, he's got a good program going. See, like I said, you're very competitive up there, and it's especially in factory stock racing these days, that's a tough place to be competitive.
Tri-State has got, I mean, there's 10 guys at any time, any weekend that can win up there. I mean, it seems like every year there's more and more, you know, started out there was always 2 or 3 guys that dominate. And every year there's, you know, a couple more. And now I figure with the rule changes this year, going to USRA and they're gonna slow the class down a little bit. You know, I feel like it's gonna be even more competitive than what it's been, you know, the past couple of years.
And saying that, how do you feel about the USRA rules
Oh, man.
compared to what you were running? I mean, do you like them more, or do you not like it? Or?
I'm a fan, you know, honestly, like,
Right.
I kind of thought the class was getting out of hand a little bit of stuff, you know, it's kind of turned into a 5-year-old super stock or a national top car,
Right.
essentially, and with the USRA, you know, it's a Texas factory stock rule, you know, more of a, you know,
Right.
manifold, slick tire. It's gonna even the class out tremendously, I think. I've rooted for it for a couple of years, and I'm glad that they went to that area. You know, also because you can travel 3 or 4 hours almost every weekend now and race for decent money. I mean, there's tracks in Texas every weekend. It's 2,500. There was 5,000 last weekend. I think there's another 5,000 this weekend. I mean, and they're all the same rules, you know. So, and I think it'll help the track as well. Those guys from Texarkana,
Coming up.
the North Texas area, be able to travel up. You know, it's 3 hours. It's not, you know, it's not that far. So, I'm a fan, you know, honestly. But we'll see how it turns out. You know, the first couple of weekends may be kind of lower on car count, but as the year goes on, the class is going to grow even more than what it already has, I think.
Is their motor rules kind of like Diamond City stock cars, a bigger cubic inch, smaller carburetor?
No, it's a 450 lift motor, you know, cast piston, got full vacuum on manifolds, you know, stock GM intake.
Really?
Don't you know, it's
Oh, I
a
didn't know
really watered down from what it was, you know. But you know,
Well, there's a talk in the area, if there are more people maybe are gonna come out and try it, or is it a wait and see?
I think it's kind of a 50-50 thing, man. Some people are upset about the rule change because they felt like the class was, you know, that's one of the biggest classes in the area besides the big mod. And, you know, I think it's a wait and see. You know, they're going to see what the class does. But, you know, with the guys that are upset, there's also the guys that are happy, you know, so
Right.
they're going to bring more into the class.
Does Bohannon got one?
I'm not sure what Drew has. I'm sure he got something, man.
Oh, I'm sure he will
Yeah,
too.
he likes to race. He's gonna,
Yeah.
he'll find something.
And you said up there the B mod is got they've got a lot of B mods in at Tri-State.
Yeah, man.
It's
Crazy.
a big,
It's
that's a
crazy.
big deal there.
Every weekend, those guys, you know, got a huge car count.
Right.
And I think that's awesome. And that's a cost that I look into myself. It's just
Right.
knowledge-wise, I'm lacking on the knowledge for those cars, and you know.
You know, and I guess USRA, the mods now there, I mean, so,
Yeah.
but they were USRA.
Yeah, they were already
the
USRA.
last-
Yeah,
the last few
But
years.
they have a large
But they have,
turnout for those too.
right, they have
Yeah,
a pretty
see,
good turnout for those.
They was at, when I had the track, plus they had 2 sanctions there, and they had the IMCA sanctions too, and they wouldn't no cars show up creating. A lot of them boys, they would run both classes, you know, because they wasn't enough of the IMCA modifieds up there.
And I think they're even, I guess you can run like the USRA Limited. I guess they can
Right.
make some with the B mod. And a couple guys took B mods down into Texas, like RPM, some of the first race of the year. And competitive, I think Cody King, I think he took his B mod down there and won. I think it went to run second, third. So I mean, super close. I mean,
That's right.
yeah. So
And lots of them
yeah,
there.
tons of cars. Dude. It's a good class for sure.
Randy, what's going on with you for 2021? I know you've been out a couple of times, or,
Yeah, I've been out once, because all I've been out so far, we've been, like I say, me and Tommy's been working so much. And
you've been working so much.
Well,
I know you have.
They don't have a clue.
you know,
We're just gonna start hanging out over here more.
You'd be like, I'm tired just following this guy. You know, I've built 4 big truck cat motors in the last 2 months, something like that. And plus, I mean, right here in the shop, I mean, I do all their own mechanical, building their own motors and everything.
So you got the old Camaro ready to go and all
Yeah.
fine tuned?
I think so. We got the wrap back on it and body, and I took it over there last week ago, Friday night. Me and Jackie took hers over there, and I run it, and didn't stick no valve or anything, so I feel a lot better about it, so. And then, Jackie's granddaughter, she bought her a car, so I've been, she's 9-year-old, so I've been working on that thing. When I get a chance, I've got it painted, and I got the decals on it Sunday afternoon, and I still gotta get a seat in it, and then I gotta get a seat in it for me, where I can ride
Right
along,
along.
or put a steering wheel on that side of the gas pedal, and just let her wave.
Have you got Jackie's car all ready to race this year?
I spent this winter, I did a lot of welding and stuff on the frame, and done some stuff to it, and changed it up. She wanted 10-inch wheels on hers, so I got the 8s off and got 10s on it, and when she drove it the other night, she got the hot lap, and then we got ready to go out for the heat race, we quit. So anyhow, she didn't get to run her heat race, and well, the module went out to the distributor, so I got that fixed, and we got her out there for the feature, and she said it drove a lot different, because I put some different shocks on it, and got those 10-inch wheels on it, so.
You get a new body put on it?
No. No, they didn't.
See, I'm just asking because he's sitting right here,
No.
your old brother here, look like he might.
We was
do
gonna
something.
build her new body, but like I said, we can't even finish that car.
We got the sheet metal here for her.
Yeah.
I got it for her for Christmas. That was her Christmas present.
I got somebody liquid
Why?
gold black over
He was
there.
trying to sell it to us when we got here.
No, I'm trying to sell liquid gold black, I mean,
Oh.
that black sheet metal, I mean, I don't even be talking about it, because if anybody sees it on Facebook, they'll be calling on to buy it.
It's for sale, folks. He's got like 6 serrated sheets of black.
Randy may not know about it, just.
No, the black's mine, that's for the hood and everything on the car.
Well, all right, we're going around the table here, and we kind of saved this for the last in the introduction,
Right here,
because we're going to get to Bob Moore over here, who I want to say this correctly. Bob has probably raced as long as anybody in the River Valley.
Yeah.
And he was a inspiration to so many people in this area that got into racing. Everybody wanted, that got into stock car racing, wanted to beat Bobby Moore. And it wasn't the fact that they didn't like Bob, but the fact was everybody respected his ability of how he handled and drove a stock car. You knew if you could beat him, you had done something. And everybody's feelings that way was out of respect, Bob.
Yeah. But it wasn't.
And you laugh about that, but that's true. Everybody
right.
wanted to be as good as Bob Moore.
But it wasn't just that, the racers, but like me or you back at that time when we were kids and we wasn't racing,
Yeah.
you wanted to go watch
You wanted to go
Moore
watch
race.
Bob.
Yeah, you wanted to go to the track to watch him race. So, I mean,
You know,
it was both sides.
People walks up to me now, I said, I come watch you with my dad when I was a little kid, which are grown men now. Well, that's been 50 years ago.
Right.
so tell us, and we were looking at some stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. The Central track Central opened in 1968, and Bob won the very first race there.
Yeah.
And tell us how you, and this is something we always ask, but tell us how you got started in stock car racing.
Well, I was drag racing before that, and I went to the stock car racing. I said, that's got to be fun, So we built an old car. At that time, I built a 56 Chevrolet. Had a roll cage in it, put the motor in it. I got to look at the road, it said 55. So I had to scrap that car, quit, start over, because it had to be a 55. And I run it for 2 years, and I finally loaded up at the end of the second year.
At what age was you at this point in time when you first got into that 68? So that was.
Well, I'm 79 now, so you have to back it up.
I guess like a
Yeah. But I guess what I'm saying is I guess we were talking earlier. The first time was the 63,
Yeah, you started already, you were
Yeah.
in a race
She
tonight.
ever got in a
I
car?
got in a race car at 63. I went to the race with a guy that I was friends with. He's working on a flathead, I had no flathead, I drag racing. And his driver didn't show up, so he said, "You want to drive it?" I said, "Yeah." I jumped in it. I hit everything in the water truck, I think. But I never got back in one until they opened a Central over here. And me and Melvin Burris went over there and got to looking around, so we both built a car. At that time, you could build a car for, well, the first car I had, I paid for it. I won a piece, I paid $250 to pay for the car the first race. That's how much money is in the car. The guy gave me a motor laying out in the backyard, and I put rings and bearings in it, stuck to the heads on it. The body was gave to me. It had some more pipe, so I stuck some pipe in it. That was a race car. And back then, I took a rope and wrapped it around the steering wheel because there's no power steering. And where it steers, quicken the steering on it, links an arm on it. And the first power steering car I ever went to Central, I built for my daughter, Chevelle.
The white blue.
White blue Chevelle. And it had power steering on it. Well, I got in it one night. I said, I gotta have this. I mean, you never even thought about it because it's horsepower, you know, why it didn't hurt it. Well, it didn't hurt it that much, it made a difference.
Yeah, I remember when we put it, the first time we put power steering on, when we pulled the motor out of Kenny Woods' truck and the pump was still on it, we hooked up them hoses, and that's what I said, I said, you're not taking that off.
No.
You pull the motor, the power steering's there.
But
We talked about this, me and you before, you told me about that first race day at Central, about the number of people
oh yeah.
over there. Can you, for the show
Well,
here?
it cost you $3 to get in the pit, in the bleachers, $5 to go in the pits. No women and kids was allowed in the pits. And nobody under 16 was allowed in the pits without a waiver. And they was, the first 4th of July, they run at Central. They quit selling tickets because they couldn't get enough people in the bleachers. It's elbow to elbow. They brought the lawn chairs in, sit next to the fence, and quit selling tickets because people couldn't get in there. That's how crowded it was, but there wasn't nothing else to do back then.
Yeah.
You know, you went to the drive-in movie or you went to the stock car races.
They'll keep themselves.
And every garage, service station, or anybody that knew anything about a car had a stock car. It wasn't much of a stock car, but it was a stock car. Took to the track, put a tow bar on the front, and went to the races.
How many cars that first Sunday do you think, race cars, they probably had?
That 4th of July, there were probably 25 to 30 in each class,
And there was probably
except for the
three,
A class. The A class was limited.
and there was probably 3 classes.
3 classes, A, B, and
A, B, and
C.
C.
And when Crow Mountain opened up, I took 4 cars to Crow Mountain to run 4 cars every night.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Run A, B, and C, and I figured A car. And I'd go to Central and take 2, go to Central, go to Price area night.
Yeah, I below.
And I went off a
Yeah,
little.
I remember going over there.
And we go to Lower Law. But most of us, you know, local stuff. But I made more money racing than I did working.
Did you ever go out
I
there?
could go out here and work at Conagra's Road Food. I'd make $65, $70 a week. I go to Central on $250 feature. And I had 3 cars most of the time running. A lot of times I win both features in each class.
Still pays the same.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
pays the same, it cost you $35.
Yeah, right there, $9 gallon.
And back then, you went down here to the local parts house, you bought parts, you didn't go to the speed shop, there was no such thing as a speed shop. You know, you run what you could bring. In the first 2 years, I was tore down 9 times.
And what was the tear down fee back then?
$50, I believe. And we're selling right now, there's an old tree out there, still got a chain.
Still got a chain, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there was a mini car tore down under the tree. Now that was 9 times, I was still illegal one time. I had a 55 Ford, and the rule said it had to be 55 carburetor on it. The middle part of it was a 56. And I didn't know that, so they went down there, looked at the little number on the side of it, and it was 56.
Wow.
And they DQ'd me for it.
Now, something else you was talking about building a 56 Chevrolet, and you had to scrap the car
Yeah.
because it had to be
It had
a
to be
55. So it was that
55
strict.
earlier.
Yeah, it was that
I just
strict.
put it up for a year.
Yeah,
But, I mean, back then, you could get a 55, 56, you
Yeah.
had to.
yeah.
Man,
I cut up a nice 55 for the Crown Victoria.
There's a
like
lot
that,
of
right?
cars tore up.
Oh, I remember I built that 68 SS Chevelle. I mean, it was a big block motor and, I mean, nice car, and I built it into a race car. I wished I had it now.
Oh, yeah, how many of those Chevelles?
Yeah.
5 Chevrolets?
Yes, man.
And
But
everything.
back then, it was easy to get a car, they would give it to you and pull them out of their yard.
Now,
You can pull them out now, but it'll cost you.
Yeah.
you mentioned racing at Crow Mountain up here. And there's a lot of people out here that don't know that there was a track up there
Yeah.
at one time. Would you talk a little bit about the racetrack up there?
It was built on top of the hill there. 1 and 2 turn had a drop off about 30 feet on it. Number 4, about 3 and 4, had about a 60-foot drop off. If you went off it, you was looking like this, track. And on the back straight, it had a rock about this bigger than you wanted to go around. And back then, it was, I don't know, it had a lot of temper, a lot of fights. More fights than it was. You get out of the car and you'd wonder. I drove many a race with a slapper between my legs.
Did you ever need it?
Huh?
Did you ever need it?
I put out the car a couple of times with it.
What was it like in the early days as far as building the cars and you know, at what point in time did y'all start learning different things about making the cars handle better and that it was, you know?
Jimmy Cotton come up here from Little Rock. We used to have a bunch of guys come from Little Rock and run down I-30. And all of us little boys here, we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know to change tires, gears, or anything, you know. And Cotton, he come up here and he scrapped it on us pretty hard for a while, so we kind of learned what to do.
You mentioned a while ago Melvin, and you raced with him, and did you race the 6-cylinder class? Because I know he was a big 6-cylinder
He was
guy.
6-cylinder.
And did you race the
No,
6-cylinder
I ran
class?
the V8.
Okay.
That's all I run. I never did run. I run 6-cylinder on Crow Mountain. I had a 55 Ford, and I went back to a Chevrolet, and I had no Ford sitting out there, so I bought an old 6-cylinder. You got $40 to smother and stuff it in it, till it's Crow Mountain. And I run the 6-cylinder class and did up there.
Now, the V8 classes, they had cubic inch, so they were small.
265 was what it started out at.
Yeah.
And it went to 292 Ford was the 2 classes, or the class. And it went to the 289 Ford and the 283 Chevrolet. And that's when I went to a Ford, when they went to 283, because Ford cost a lot more money, but it would run better.
And how many years did you run the Ford?
3, I think, 3 or 4. And like I said, me and Bill Yates were good friends. We run together a lot. Never had a cross word with Bill all the time we raced.
You know, and we've had Bill, I don't mean to cut you off, but we've had Bill on the show a couple of times. And it's funny that because everybody out here racing always assumed that y'all was arch rivals.
Now, when we went on the racetrack, Bill was for Bill, I was for me. But we drove each other clean. We got off the track, we worked with each other's car. In fact, in the Ford, we pulled his 302 balls out of his 8 car, put it in 555, and went to the Redfield to the national race.
He told us about doing that, y'all.
You know, and we didn't really get into that.
No, we didn't get
But,
into it.
but I've been wondering, because Bill would say, we pulled my motor and put in Bob's car.
Right.
Yeah,
And I've thought about that, but I didn't know you ran a Ford
Yeah.
for a time, and I'm thinking, how did they do that? And I've been wanting to ask one of y'all, and
so we went to Redfield, that was the Arkansas championship race, whatever you want to call it. And we put that 302 in it, because you could run the 302 then, it would have lost motor. So we put it in 55 mine. We pulled in down there, Melvin Burris was with us. He couldn't run the groove tires when we got down there. So I was pulling the car with El Camino had a set of crater bags on it.
I remember your El Camino.
We took the bags off, the wheels, the tires off, put on his race car, put his grooves on my El Camino, and he run his car that night.
Oh, I remember taking water pumps, strippers and everything else out of my pickup just to race it, and I had to put it back on to go home.
And about the funniest thing ever happened to me, I guess, over the years, E.T. McConnell.
Yeah,
Remember him?
Troy's
He
there.
done a six-cylinder. We was down at Ottawa. And, Troy come with her, E.T. come walking across the pits there at intermission. And just cussing her raised the cane, I can't run no car. I said, what's wrong? I said, master cylinder loading. I can't fix it. I ain't got nothing to fix the master cylinder with. He hit it his hand. I said, hell, just leave it off and run it without it. He said, do you want to drive it? I said, yeah. I got it, didn't have a damn brake pedal in it. I won the picture in it. Went down there, you know, get the cigarette pack, I couldn't stop. No, I did talk about that for years, I mean. You know, you done anything to race, I mean. What
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
We used to take transmissions and rear ends and races, you know. I changed me the transmission off the track. We changed the spring on that. Tommy got his finger cut off under my car, he's hitting me, changed the spring.
Yeah,
Let the jack down, it got his finger between the coils and frame.
yeah, my finger beat me to the hospital. I ain't gonna lie,
Web Chipper.
Webb Shepherd with us, and Melvin, when I mashed it, I just wrapped my hand up like that, and Bobby, I think he handed me some blue rag or something, I didn't know why, I just thought I was mashed my hand. About that time I seen Melvin Burris, he took a cup of ice, he said, no, I got your finger right here. I thought, oh, shit. But we take off, Webb's driving me to the hospital, and I got the air conditioner blowing, just sweating, his car blows by, so they're outside the center with his flashers on. Thought, hell, follow them, Webb, I'm hurt. We pulled in there in the emergency room, Darnell, I walked in there and I said, I mashed my hand, I don't know if I cut my finger off or what. He said, you did, I got it right here in the cut, son. And he said, Dad, I just like to melt it right there. And it cut the tip of my finger off and everything, they had to go in there and redo everything.
Now, Bob, you also did a lot of racing in the western part of Arkansas,
Oh, yeah.
Crawford County, and I know you raced over Tri-State some.
Yeah, I lost a $500 race in Tri-State once. Went number 4 turn, leading the race, jumped out of gear, and I was stupid, I didn't push the clutch, and I just shoved it back in, it did, it spun. But I was far enough, I ended up getting second out of it, so that was the experience at Tri-State. Crawford County was, I won three championships up there.
And you done that 3 years in a row.
Yeah. And last time we went up there, Tommy and me went up there, and Tommy called and said, you know, we're running Tri-State, or
I done baseball,
baseball rule says it's illegal to run. Yeah. So here we go. Tommy got 2 cars. I get one, he gets the other, and we're gonna run up there. Anyway, we spent out that night. Tommy did, and I ended up running second of the car. But the time before that, we went up there and I had Melvin Burris's car, my motor. And we went up there on a Sunday. They qualified on Friday night, Saturday night.
Yeah, you went Saturday night, didn't you?
No, well, I raced the Central Saturday
Oh,
night.
did you? I showed up on Sunday.
And when we both got the car on Sunday, we had to run the B feature, where we had to run the heat to qualify for the B. And start on the back of the B, qualified for it, start on the back of the A, 50 lap feature. Me and Tommy and the half point car swapped positions. Finally, close to the end of it, I got out front, Tommy behind me, and the half point car.
I think, wasn't it?
Number 8.
Eight, yeah.
He was running third. And pulled across the scale, and they said, you got roller dockers? I said, no, yeah, I got roller tips. And you're illegal, DQ. They DQ'd us.
After they told us we could run.
They DQ both of us. And the track was a champion of fair, was that 8 car. He come up and said, you need to pay him. I said, hell, they outrun us fair and square. When they started on the back, it's 50 lap race, and they won it. You need to pay him. We argued with him, Tommy argued more than I did.
Yeah, I see it.
He's just that way.
Anyway, man, we lost that, and I went back up there the following week. Same car, but I pulled it over the rock kids off, but stopped rock car from. Yeah, $500 race. And I run Central on Saturday night, went up there to Sunday night deal. I started on the back and won it. And I pulled across there and he said, "Who do you take there? We're gonna look at track owner, whatever his name is."
Donnie.
Donnie. Said, "Hell no," said, "He's legal." He said, "You did take him off, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, I took him off." He said, "You're legal." And they threw the fit, and he said, "Pay him, give me his money."
And say that you won, like I said, 3 championships at Crawford,
Yeah.
2 or 3 at Plummerville, and no telling how many at Central.
I don't can't keep up with them.
Any idea how many feature races you've won in your career?
No. It's terrible.
I mean, I would like to know the number. I've tried to research it with
Be a
what
bunch.
materials out there. And I've been doing that for the last couple of years, trying to research how, and I don't know that we could ever get a for real number on it, but it's.
See, Crawford County back when I was running up there, if you won the feature on a Saturday night, the following Saturday night, they'd have a race between those 2 cars for a trophy. 5 lap heat race before each race started. And I won them for nearly all year. Because I'd win the feature on Saturday night and I'd run that trophy race on the next Saturday night. Like I said, when you put that bounty on, I won 3 weeks in a row there. They put $100 a ticket on the side of the car. And then the next week, did nobody outrun me and I had to start on the back. And the rules was I had to finish the race and I had to start on the back, and wherever they started didn't matter where they started. If they could outrun me, if I didn't win the feature, the one that won the feature got the money. So they put $100 on it this week, they put $200 next week, and $300 the third week. Then the third week, well, I got to keep it, didn't nobody outrun it.
And it wasn't uncommon back years ago that the high point car nearly everywhere would start at the back.
At the back.
And
Central used to be, high point in front this week to the back next week, back and forth. It makes a better show.
I think Crawford's still like that, ain't it?
They do, if you win, the next week you go to the back, start the back.
It makes a better show.
do
It makes a better
do you
show.
feel like having experienced that doing that and having to pass made you a better driver?
Oh, yeah. He's a driver, Tommy's a driver. If you start on the pole and you win that race, in your own mind, you say, I should have won that race. If you start on the back and you pass everybody out there, self-pride says, I'm the best here, I run everybody. It makes you think you're, special, or you've done something. Start on the front and win a race, you ain't really done nothing.
It's a lot better feeling from the back than just.
Oh, yeah. It makes you feel better. And it's a better show for the people in the bleachers.
And it is because, when you got the same guy, my opinion, that starts on the pole every week and runs off and leaves everybody every week, people in the fans kind of get used to that, and they're kind of going, okay. But when you got that guy that goes to the back and has to pass everybody to get to the front, it's exciting for the fans to be able to watch that. And I'm looking at it from the fan side of it. It's exciting for them to sit there and go, well, here comes, More up from the back or Randy.
I still think you ought to draw, flip.
Well, I done field draw both racetracks, and when I had Tri-State, I started field drawing, and boy, people hated it, people loved it. I had one guy, for example,
I
come
pass
out.
you every week.
Huh? I got
He's
killed.
a better race.
Yeah,
But, spectator.
I had one guy come up one weekend, and he come up and he said, "You don't put me on the pole." He said, "I won't be back." I said, "Excuse me." He said, "Well, I draw a fight deal." He said, "I should be on the pole." boy, he just cussed me out and everything else. Well, he walked off there, I got to think about it, so I went back up there and I said, why didn't you come cuss me out last weekend? He said, excuse me? I said, why didn't you come cuss me out last weekend? I said, you started on the pole last weekend when you run 10. I said, why wouldn't you cuss me then, you know? It was advantage for him the following week, he got set on the pole, but when he won a heat race and then he got sent to the back, he was mad at me, you know? I mean, it's got its up and downs, but I think it makes better racing.
But you go to any of these racetracks, if that guy wins, say, they have 2 heat races, them 4 cars wins that heat race, they're gonna start up front. One of them 4 cars gonna win the race. People in the bleachers know it. Half of them get up and leave.
Exactly.
Well, actually, like, well, I used to, when I had tri-state, I love to see when you and both handed had to start on the back, to me, it just made better racing.
It makes better racing.
And this is one of the things that we ask everywhere we go. And I think promoters have been afraid to change this, always rewarding the winner. I think they're scared to do that. But, because they think they're gonna offend the drivers, and I guess there's some of them out there that you probably would. But, you know, nearly every driver, well, I'm gonna say this, every driver that we have talked to on this show said they would rather win a race from the back than win.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Anybody, it's like the race.
That there's more satisfaction, and I wish if there's any promoters that watch this, would start trying this, because, what's that? Yeah. What did he say?
Hey, let's go race.
I'm not helping you either. But I mean, I just think it would bring the fans back to the sport.
All right, you go to races Saturday night. These 2 cars start out front, you know they're having a car or the fast cars. You don't even watch them, you're watching 3rd and 4th place back here, see who's coming through the pack.
And
I think that's what you go to watch. I mean, it's a show you're putting on for the public, or for the spectators.
And I
When you
agree.
kill that, you kill your crowd.
Yeah.
And you do. But I think a lot of drivers, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna make a bunch mad, I'm sure. But a lot of drivers, you know, we kind of lost, you know, what we was doing. Everybody wanted to go out and race because they enjoyed racing, and it was fun, all right? And then it got to where the money got involved
Yes.
so much that
It takes.
you've got a $50,000 car here, okay? Well, if you run 10th, you ain't getting no money. But if I run first, I can win $5,000 or $10,000 here at this race. And it got to the point to where, all right,
Oh,
you know, I won these heats, or I won this, so I want to be on the pole. Because I've got a better chance of making that money back because I've sunk so much money in this car.
It takes the fun out of it.
But it takes the fun out of it.
Well, like that's what I did in '93 when I built that first truck car. Remember, I showed up at Centerville, put the barrels fell on. I mean, I rolled in there and hell, Bob didn't ever see that. Hell, it had adjustable brakes on it and everything else. I won 15 features and 34 heats with that car the first year I ran. But then after that, for 4 years, I won a lot of races, you know, run second to him or maybe run second, you know, and vice versa. But it got to the point, it wouldn't, if you had a bad night, you get pissed off because you expected to win, you know. And it just it took the fun out of it after a while.
But what I was saying is, you know, that was the fun back then is, you know, we've moneyed ourselves out of fun racing anymore because it's almost like a business now, basically.
Everybody wants to win.
Everybody wants to win, and you don't blame everybody for wanting to win because you want to win. But
$4,000
but you're running a $50,000 car for $250 at the end of the night, and
But these promoters don't realize that 4th and 5th place car, you gotta have a little bit of money to come back the following week. You know, you can't put everything on the winner and your high one car or your fastest car, he's gonna win it, or your high dollar car, he's gonna win that money. This guy back here costs him the same amount of money to come race.
Like old Johnny Burno, he said if they just take enough home, get him, a hamburger or a Coke on the way home, they'll be happy.
But if a guy pays his middle bill and his entry fee,
Yeah,
then might go back next week.
Well, you can't win enough pay fuel bill anymore.
But like you
But if
said,
you go every week and you constantly, you know, lose $200 or $300 every week just to go to the races, it ain't gonna be long. Them boys gonna quit.
But like you said, the promoter part of it is, and y'all know this because y'all done it.
Wish we hadn't.
Yeah.
Which time?
But you won't, you know, that racer out there, yeah, he's getting people to show up to the stands, but he's not what's keeping you afloat in all reality. He is in a roundabout way because he's out there racing, but all the people in the stands are where, you know, and it gets to the point where if you ain't getting but, you know, 25, 30 people in the stands, you can't keep paying these guys to come race.
And it's like Bob said, you've got to put on a show that's gonna
To
entertain.
entertain the fans.
Well, it's like Crawford County, you know, I remember going up there for a Fourth of July race, me and Johnny Burton, he took the modified and I took the street stock up there one year. And man, 5 o'clock in the morning, we're out the truck to go racing. I mean, that's how many cars were up there, and the crowds were pumped full. But them 4-cylinder classes, them cheap classes, son, they'd roll in there and they'd have 10 people with them to come and watch that 4-cylinder, you know?
And you got 10 people going in the bleachers.
Yeah, and they run for nothing.
What was it that Kenny told us, or told you
On a 4-cylinder?
on his phone? Was it $60 to win, or what? The
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
70
much.
and Schrager, and there was,
40 or 50 there.
you know, they show up just for $60 to
But
win.
they're doing it for fun.
Oh, they're done, they're done, that's all I've seen. I
And
mean,
you
that
go over in bleachers, that'd be grandma, grandpa,
Yes.
half a dozen kids, come to watch that slowest
Yeah.
car you got running.
Yes.
And your fastest car probably only have 2 people sitting up there watching.
You
Especially if it's an out-of-town car.
I can remember on, you know, Saturday at noon, getting ready to go to Centerville, you'd ask Randy, we had P&R interchange over then, and, I mean, my shop would be full of racers. They'd be over, a lot of them bring the cars down, and we'd be in there working on all everybody's cars and stuff, and everybody's working on cars. You don't see that anymore. I mean, hell, I'm about ready to bang somebody come down here and work on that.
Bobby's ready to pay.
Oh, he did. Everybody comes over, if he needs something, go find him, Bob, just keep coming.
What, in y'all's opinion, and Bob, you've been around for a long time, what do we do to save the sport, keep people back to racing again?
You're gonna,
Throw these things away, take away from kids.
from the kid.
That's where it's.
Maybe you're gonna have to split that money up there, everybody
That's
gets
good, that's great.
a fuel bill and an entry fee.
Pay something to start.
Pay something, you know, pay something to start, and don't put it all on top.
Well, let me ask this question, you bring up an interesting deal about fuel. And, sorry Kevin Rogers, but I want to ask.
Hey, I'm not involved in this.
But do we not need a class out there that doesn't necessarily need $7 or $8 a gallon race fuel?
Yes.
People to go out and race it.
Yep.
You know, we had that one, remember when I done the, what was that, the economy miles, you know?
Yeah.
You know, that class drove real good, you know, we would check the octane and everything, you know?
But do we need a class with lower compression that's checked, that doesn't require, a large fuel bill every week, at least to get people?
But it won't happen, because they won't stand, I mean, the racers themselves will do it, oh, I gotta have racers.
This factory stock has got out of hand. It ain't nothing but a damn straight stock car.
Right.
You know, you gotta buy racing fuel to put in it. You gotta buy $600 carburetor to put on it. Because that old man over there's got that same thing, he's out running your ass, so you're gonna go buy one. Or you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that.
Well, that new class that they're starting, trying to say, it's got the rear ends on it, they're just like in the modified, they did quick changes and all that.
The USRA stock cars, they're.
Bar transmission, rims and stuff.
But like I said, they opened up the shock package, you used to run a $50 shock. That's a $200, $300 shock. And if you ain't got it, you ain't gonna run that guy up front.
It's one of those things, just because it's allowed, doesn't mean it's better.
No,
But
no.
I can remember years back in the 80s over at Centerville, we wouldn't even allow to put, remember, we couldn't even put front bars from our 4-point out to the front. You wouldn't have, you was allowed a bar around the front of the radiator, but you couldn't have bars going from your 4-point to the front of it. And that's the way it was, I mean.
and you had to be careful how you brace that bar in the front
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, one hit and
Yeah.
stuff is up and everything else.
But I mean, do we not agree that out there somewhere, somebody's gotta get something started that's affordable? Because, we said this one on the show, a kid getting out of high school can't afford it. I mean, my first go-kart when I was in high school, I might have had $450, $500. You know, but if I was graduating today, I couldn't go racing if I wanted to.
No.
Because, you know.
My first car similar to Arkansas, I kid you not, I won it on Wednesday night in a poker game for $35.
I
And I
remember
raced
that.
it and won $75 with it.
I
First
remember
time
that
running, I said, son, I'm hooked.
I remember that card, and I'm not doubting you a bit.
I borrowed the drive, I told you going out the heat race, and I borrowed the drive shaft off Ricky D. Malloy, and it messed my yoke up, and I welded his drive shaft, I just welded the cups into my rear end. And went out there, I won $75 for that car, the first night I run it, and I said, son, I am hooked now.
But I think on some of that, we, as tracks around the state, on those beginner classes, to me, everybody needs to get together and get one class.
Won't happen.
I know it won't happen, but they get together, they get one class because they may not think that, okay, if I'm running the same rules as this one, they're gonna go there. But at the beginning, a lot of those guys, they may want to go to 4 or 5 different tracks or whatever. And if they all got the same rule package, to me, it spreads around. And a lot of these guys are going to go to, you know, I mean, it ain't going to happen, but
If you had an IMCA stock car class that was a beginner class, if you had the rules like that,
right,
I mean, because there's so many rules on them cars.
right,
But if you could put together
a lower class that's
Yeah.
like that.
You know, when I done
You know,
that,
that to me, and I'm going to say, you know, that was one of the best things that I think has happened. You know, I guess 2019, 18, Tracy Clay, she went to Boone,
20, yeah, she went
19, and watches the IMCA stock cars run, and she said, hey, we're going to do that at I-30 and bring them stock cars to Arkansas. And right now, I think that that's going to be a big thing eventually because of how competitive and how close racing they
Oh, it's
are.
definitely gonna be competitive, what I
And, but it's still a class that this kid out of high school is not going to be able to run because it's too
No.
expensive. But we still need that class for that kid to be able to
You
run.
take that car sitting right there, how many people can afford it?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, you know,
That's, I mean, a working man cannot afford that car. Ain't no way.
What's that?
Well,
Good
I
sponsor.
saw him. Oh, damn!
You've got 3 of them in here.
If you ain't got sponsors or something on that car,
Yeah.
a guy working for a normal wage cannot afford that car.
I mean, you got your stable over,
This ain't about me, man. It's about you.
That's the reason I still got Camaro.
But, you know,
so
I got no factory stock, and I got way more in it than it's worth. I keep putting more in, trying to run it. And I got way more in it than it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, I've been.
But it's like you said a while ago, this guy over here, if you're gonna be competitive, you
You're gonna have to
you
have-
gotta constantly upgrade
You
your stuff.
gotta keep putting money in it.
Oh, yeah, they're right there, sets a $24,000 motor, we got 9 nights in right now, it's tore apart, you know, $24,000.
That's what I mean. So you
two
get
fools, man.
more revenue.
Oh, I've seen it below $40,000.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying though, and it's just crazy, I mean, it's tough to fund.
It has.
It's stuck to,
And a good question. Bob, the 3 years in that you won back-to-back championships in Crawford County, what do you think your engine cost was?
I sold the car at the end of the year. I done had the championship one the last year I remember. And the guy walked up to me and said, what would you take for the car? Well, I took a for sale sign on the way up, or I took shoe polish, put on the side of it. Because I wanted to go to the Grand National, or not Grand National, but the limited late model the following year. And I put for sale on it, and we'll walk up and said, what are you gonna get your car? That's on 2,500 for it, just like you said. He said, oh, I want it. I said, well, I'm gonna drive it tonight. If you still want it at the end of the night, you can have it. But it had a $300 feature. I wanted to feature it at that night. He said, I've got a late model Said, you drive my late model and I'll buy your car. I said, okay. And I went to the track owner and asked him, I said, is his money good? He said, yeah. He said, I own a big mine in Tulsa. And I sold him the car and delivered it to Tulsa that night in Crawford. Next night, or next Friday night, Saturday night, he showed up with a late model. And his wife and him coming in a big Cadillac. He guy brought the car in. He got out of it with a driving suit on, got in his car and drove, got out. The guy paid to work on it, do everything to it. I drove the late model the last 2 weeks of the season at first. And he didn't finish the damn race in my car.
Let me listen if they get 25.
He just, the car was winning, so he thought I'd buy that car and I could win it. He wasn't doing no good in the late model either, so he'd been to driving school and he had more damn money than he had sense, so he had.
But, like I said, in something else we don't see a lot of anymore, how many cars would you say, since 1968, have you personally built?
Shit, I don't know.
Probably about every one of them, ain't it?
I built every car I run.
But
Yeah,
but I mean, how many
But I mean-
over the years?
Oh, I don't know.
and I also, probably for other people,
I built Randy, Raymond's son-in-law, or gonna be son-in-law, what was his name?
Randy Tucker?
No. Anyway,
Oh, Webb?
no, that's the other one, big old boy.
I don't guess I remember him.
Anyway, from before your time. I told him I
Oh,
built, that was when the 55 went on up to the Camaro, So I had an old wrecked Camaro sitting out back in the shop. And he brought a 55 Chevrolet out there for me to put a roll cage and stuff in it. I said, I'll build you this Camaro and guarantee it to win for $500. Put it on the racetrack. And I'll drive it the first night.
You still do that now?
No, I put a $200 feature up there in it that night. And then he backed out on it. I ended up selling to, who did I sell it for? Oxford. Anyway,
now,
Wesley, they,
Oh, okay.
Tommy's guaranteeing that one to win.
that struck a memory with me. You drove a yellow Camaro for
Yeah.
a while, and got that,
Yeah.
and it wasn't the customary red and white.
no, that was a yellow chicken.
What was the story behind that?
That was the car I built for $500.
Okay.
Put a roll cage in, put a motor in it, which just runs everything stock, back in.
But I'm glad you brought that up, because that was something I was wanting to ask you, and I forgot about that.
Yeah, maybe I need big yellow chicken.
Everything I run was red and white. I drove that, Camaro for Jim Foreman built, you remember it?
Mhm.
Had the 2 4s on it.
Right.
It was 68, he worked for Gosnell Chevrolet, and they wrecked it. It was a 67 Camaro. And he got it, built it, and, I can't think of his name now. That boy, Senator bought it from him, and I drove it.
He did drive first car with green scallops on.
Yeah. I drove Tommy's car, that was a fun car to drive, we won, $1,500 feature over our Senator, and didn't want to pay us.
I think he's the reason they paid us that night. Remember, he walked up, told him, he said, pay the people, he said, they're legal.
We run second in it.
See, and all the nights are too bad now.
Yeah, that's what I told him earlier, everybody here drove one of my cars.
But I've enjoyed
And
it.
I thought I was gonna get a chance to, apparently gonna be driving.
I've enjoyed stock car racing, it's been good to me.
It's been a blessing to meet people, I've been through the years.
I don't care where I go, any track I go to, somebody will walk up, and know me from past years.
And you're how old, Bob?
I'll be 80 in January,
Be 80 in January.
And still driving.
still trying.
Keeps him young.
I'm gonna tell you something,
It does.
race cars is where I'm at, is because where we're at today. I mean,
That's exactly why we're where we're at today.
I'm serious though, I mean, you take JR, I I mean, you know, I met him at the racetrack, and that man's been a blessing to us. I mean, he has been an absolute blessing to me and Randy and stuff. I mean, a lot of people I've met in my career of working is because of people I've met at the racetrack. My whole life's been like that. I mean, it's been a blessing. I met you. We don't talk about
I
age.
don't know if that's been a blessing or not, Tommy.
I always thought he was a big bully until I touched over Tri-State. But then I thought, yeah, that guy ain't as mean as I thought he was.
You talked about racing with Bill Yates.
Yeah.
Who were some of the other toughest people that you feel like that you've raced against over the years? Who was,
Travis Hamilton,
he was another standout
I
driver.
guess Jackie Mackey owned the car at Phyllis Lunningham Road. And Wendell Cook was promoter, to say the least. He come up over one night after the races, said, I'm gonna have a race next week between you, Travis Hamilton, and Phyllis Lunningham. No holds barred, any way to win it. $500.
Wow. Just you three.
Just us three, after the regular races. But we come out of number 4 on the last lap. Ellis was kind of out of shape a little bit, and I knocked him to the top of the track. And Mackie was my cousin, and he owned the car, and all hell got the races after that. But Cook come down there and said, boys, y'all all agree, no holds barred, any way to win the damn race. Said, he done it fair and square. He shot you up the track and he won the race. So he gets some money.
That's too cool.
But that was what Wendell done. He would start shit over the week.
Yeah.
And get me involved in it. And he said, hell, I was the best crowd drawer he had.
But he was a good promoter.
Yeah, he was.
He was a good promoter.
Back, like I said, he had late model back in there, A-class car they called. You pay $750 to win. And that was back in the 60s.
Yeah, then I think that man was back when old Bloodsaw and Wendell Frank took it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Wendell was used to paying 4 places as a drag strip, and that's a whole lot of money. And
But they, back then, they'd pay, on the heat races, they'd pay 25, 15, and 10 in the heat races.
Well,
So
back,
if you won a heat race,
yeah,
you had your entry fee and your fuel bill paid for.
back in the 90s, they paid 40, 30, 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember go over and win both heat races and the feature. Yeah, I win, well, I think it's 200 for 250 for the feature back then, or 275 or something like that. If you went over and won both heat races and, you know, hell, it helped.
I won,
Yeah.
well, it's, one night, I won 360, I won the 2 heats.
It might be 300.
It's $360 I won.
Because that year, that first year I built the truck car, like I said, we won 34 heats that year, and I mean, we got $40 every time we won them heats too. I mean, it added up at the end of the year.
how come me and you didn't pay heat race money?
Bring it up now. I won't be able to walk this way right now.
Because y'all got tight like everybody else.
Dropped out his back. You don't even hear heat race money.
No.
That's the thing on fast, I mean.
No, you don't, and that's why I went back to one heat,
Yeah.
you know,
You get up there around 2 heats.
burning a lot of fuel. He'll have me, I swear.
But back then, fuel was less than $1 a gallon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know.
Well, back then, y'all run that banana, I remember Daddy and them, when
Banana
they run
oil.
banana oil leaper. Yeah, that's what they run in.
They put a pretty flame outside.
Yeah, run cast iron piston.
Casey's 91, where it's at now.
What?
Straight from the pump. Casey's 91.
Oh, you running that?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
It's $3 a gallon.
God, I remember race fuel was $2. I remember they got $2.90 a gallon, we started freaking out. Now, what is it, $9 a gallon?
10.
Well, late model fuel, we had this thing like $700 a barrel.
Well,
One
we
was
had
charging
$10
$10 a gallon.
Racing fuel, it was, I think we sell it for $2.50 a gallon.
250 or 280 something, I don't remember what it was, we sell fuel over there.
And this is a good time to thank KR Performance Fuels for sponsoring Tuesday night. Thank you, Kevin Rogers.
Buy my racing suit, KR.
They're, our production guy back here is
Is he
saying,
cutting us off?
you know,
Yeah.
but, so I
He
guess,
works 1 night a week.
I know, tells us.
And you don't wanna put any
I
overtime.
think every once in a while, he needs to extend it where you can visit. Well, you-
We, of course, Bill usually does this, but I guess I'll cut in front of him now. We'll start with Wesley. 2021, what can we expect out of Wesley Bourne racing and this year?
It hasn't started off well, I can tell you that. It's been kind of rough, had some bad luck already to start the year out, so we're gonna race a lot if we can, you know. I'm gonna try and race 2 or 3 nights a week if possible, at least 2, try to run Outlaw, Tri-State, Crawford, especially big shows.
You can go down into Texas a little bit,
Gonna go run Texas Sun, I've got a couple cars, so try to, with the way the rules are, kinda gotta have a car for every racetrack if you're gonna race it, it's kinda hard to try and race on Friday night, and go Saturday and swap it over, it's just, it's a lot of work to do that, so we're gonna run as much as we can, hopefully, be in the stock car some.
You got to take the factory stock now too.
Yeah, Texas factory stock car, which, with the tri-state rules, they're close, with the USRA deal, so you can use the same car for there. And Crawford's rules, they're really close to Texas factory stock, it's a simple changeover with tires and stuff like that. So.
Got this car right here. You said something about the tires earlier on it. I mean, I think you gotta run the American Racer though.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly on the stock, IMCA to USRA stock car rule as far as tire. I mean, I know they're similar, you can run different car ratings and stuff like that, but as far as tire rule,
I think y'all's American Racer.
I think it might be.
Randy?
Well, probably me and Jackie's gonna go over to Several quite a bit and get her granddaughter going. I gotta get her.
And that's exciting, you say 9-year-old now?
9-year-old. So I'm trying to get I got home this afternoon and I was trying to measure I got her measurements and stuff, try to get her seat set up and get it all fastened in place. And I already got it painted and got the numbers and everything on it, so I gotta get the seat done and get her going, because I want to get back up to Batesville, take her Camaro back up to Batesville and run, because that's a good class up there.
That hobby class up there,
Yeah.
it's running really good.
And I hate not getting to go up there right now, but I want to get them going, get her going, so.
Tommy?
Ain't gonna get to do much this year, I'm figuring. I mean, honestly, after my eye surgery, I'm gonna be out probably about 6 weeks, but then I'll be running the street stock and non-city stock car. Hopefully finish out the end of the year with it, so.
One real quick question before we ask.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
I mean, I know you're gonna have your surgery, and we wish you the best on that. And, but, you said Wesley's gonna be driving the car some in the meantime, I guess. Well, if Wesley's driving the car and winning races, are you gonna kick him out that way you can run the $50,000 race at Batesville, or are you gonna let Wesley run that?
He's kidding me, I like him.
We ain't got that car yet. We maybe convert one of his over for me to drive for then. We like that one.
Well, I'm pretty sure Wesley's gonna go drive one week and I'm gonna drive the other 5.
That's right.
I'll do that. Next time we do this, we'll make it like a margarita out or something.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
And I guess, Bob, your 2021 season here, and
Yeah, it didn't start off real good either. First night out at Monterville, I started on the back heat race, run second heat race. Went to scales and shut it off, wouldn't restart, and a valve stuck in the head. So pushed it off, south feature. Next week went back, started on the 3rd row outside, run second. It started fluttering a little bit and didn't think it much about it. My son-in-law said it's popping out the left hitter, right hitter. Well, I was looking at the hill, thought, wasn't nothing serious. Pulled out there for the feature, it was serious. Push rod went through the rocker arm. So it on 7 cylinders, I still run 4th. So,
I guess you got all that.
it's all fixed now, I hope. So
Well,
we'll go back to Central next weekend.
I want to say something before Aaron shuts us off. about Bob, and I think everybody here will agree. You know, if I've always believed that if Arkansas had been more geographically located with North Carolina, we would watch Bob Moore race on Sunday afternoons on TV. You know, and you know, Bob's the type of person that's you know, he doesn't pat himself on the back, but the fact of the matter is, this guy can wheel the race car like nobody else.
He budget races too.
And that's exactly right. And that's something we
I'm
can
gonna
talk
tell you
about.
I guarantee you, I call him tomorrow and say, hey, I think that spring cleaning up here, his ass gonna be up here. What I'm starting to throw away, we load it back in his truck and he runs with it. I'm serious. He takes stuff and it just amazes me. That shit would fall off my car, you know what I'm saying? I mean, a bent wheel, I throw it to him. I mean, he budget races.
Appreciate it.
And Bob probably don't remember this, but this is something I've always remembered. You talk about kind of budget racing. I remember Bob had a rear tires that he'd run, and I knew that they were harder than what a lot of other people were running. And I asked Bob one night why he run those tires. And he explained to me that if he took care of those tires and didn't get one cut down, they'd last all year long.
Yeah.
And that was back when I was young and dumb, and I've always remembered that. And I, you know, when I have raced, regardless of what type of racing I've done, I've tried to, business-wise, budget race, because this guy done it and won, so
Yeah.
everybody else ought to be able to. But I've never forgot that. And but I'm telling you folks, if we would have been more geographically located in North Carolina, we would have watched you race on Sunday afternoons. Well, Heath, where are we going next week?
Conway, Arkansas. We're gonna go see, Jeremy Kirkendall, his son, Connor, Randy Weaver, and, Kenny Clark, maybe if we can get Kenny to talk to us.
I'll bet you can talk.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, that little Kirkendall boy, he's gonna be something to watch in the future.
I mean, usually I talk Tommy Newton into being on the show.
And that was difficult to do, so, but, yeah, we're excited.
You just need to build, I know what you're doing.
We're excited about that next week, and, like I said, you know, and it's, you know, Jeremy's son's running a mini sprint.
Oh, I know, that's what I'm saying, I watched him up there at I-30 last year, he won the feature up there the night I was up there, and I'm telling you, that boy's gonna be a shoot.
Kenny Clark, boy, Bryce.
Yes.
No, I think he won championship last year in the modifieds at I-30, I think, didn't he? Was it last year?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, anyway, we really enjoyed it. We appreciate you gentlemen taking time out of your busy schedules to come on the show tonight. And Wesley, you making the trip down. It was a pleasure to meet you and get to visit these three other guys that we see quite a bit. And yeah. And like I said, on behalf of Tommy New and Bobby Moore and Randy Aiken and Wesley Bourne and for Heath Tate, we want to thank our sponsors again, Chambers Bank with 28 locations throughout Arkansas, True Grit Auction Service, Arkansas's #1 online auction company.
That's this week.
Yeah, it's going to start this week.
Look.
Yeah, that's going to be some
probably
good stuff.
Thursday, Friday, I'm just guessing, maybe,
Yeah.
that they'll have it up and going, but they're gonna have a lot of racing stuff on there.
Yeah,
Or car parts.
and tools.
And tools, lots of tools, lots of tools.
Lots of tools. Kevin Rogers with KR Performance Fuel. Sorry, Kevin, we talked about trying to run pump gasoline tonight.
Yeah, he blamed me because it's my place now.
Yeah, well, and we also want to thank Skyway Buick GMC up in Joplin, Missouri. Like I said, buy a car before Friday and he will come with them to bring the keys. We also want to thank Western Petroleum and 4Play Speed Muffler Shop down at
Shaw Race Cars.
Shaw Race Cars.
And we want to say, hey Travis, hope you're doing good.
And like I said, I left them out tonight in the beginning because they were going to be our featured sponsor of the week, and we got into talking here too quick. But again, we'll thank Shaw Race Cars up in Batesville builders of some of the best modifieds anywhere in the country.
Brand new car, yeah.
And like I said, and straight line transmissions up in Greenbrier, Arkansas. We appreciate everything Caleb does for Tuesday Night Tune-Up in Arkansas Motorsports Magazine, as well as Todd Blankenship at Blankenship's Pit Stops. So we want to thank all those great people, and I guess we'll see y'all back next Tuesday night, along with Aaron Gilkey, our production manager. We got to thank him. Without him, show wouldn't exist. And we'll see you back next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock from Conway, Arkansas.